What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and stimulus check update. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. And remember that new videos come out here on our YouTube channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, thanks for hitting the like button for us down below. The House of Representatives has been very, very busy here today. They passed another major bill here today. This one, pretty controversial. I'll show you here today. Check this one out. It's not an April Fool's joke. Not an April Fool's joke. That's why I'll show it to you on the screen so you can see it in black and white. Yeah, here it is directly from the Hill on April 1st. I know it's April Fool's Day, but this is not an April Fool's Day joke. I promise you. I promise you. You can see House approves bill legalizing Mary Jane, for a lack of a better term here that I don't want to say on YouTube. But this is true, not an April Fool's joke. Here's details. This is passed in the House, but this is going to have a harder time in the Senate to be fully passed. You can see here the House passed this bill today on Friday to legalize this nationwide and eliminate the long-standing criminal penalties for anybody who distributes it or possesses it. Lawmakers passed this bill largely along party lines, with mostly Democrats passing it, almost all Democrats. Surprisingly, how this is a Democrat versus Republican issue, again, is strange to me. Really strange to me, actually. 3 Republicans joining all but 2 Democrats in support. The 3 Republicans who voted for this bill were Representative Matt Gaetz from Florida, Brian Mast from Florida, and Tom McClintock from California, while Democratic Representatives Henry Cellular from Texas and Chris Pappas from New Hampshire voted against it. The measure now goes to the Senate, where Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is working with fellow Democrats to introduce a legalization bill as soon as this spring, which, I mean, could be as early as this month. But it's not clear a bill to broadly legalize this could clear the necessary 60 votes to advance in the Senate, where they would need at least 10 Republicans to help pass this bill, unless they do this as part of the reconciliation process, which I would think would be unlikely. So they would probably need somebody like Mitch McConnell's support in the Senate to help pass this bill and to decriminalize this on the federal level. Remember, there's multiple states that have passed this. Democratic Senators Joe Manchin and Jeanne Shaheen have expressed skepticism about the proposal. The legislation would also impose a federal tax on sales to fund programs aimed at helping communities harmed by the so-called war on drugs, and policies that establish and harm punishments for distributing and using drugs. The sales tax would start at 5% and gradually increase to 8% over 5 years. So it would be a source of revenue for the country, and they could use it to pay for who knows what, right? Proponents argue that it's past time for federal government to catch up on the majority of states that have already legalized this to at least some extent. Quote, for far too long, we have treated this as a criminal justice problem instead of a matter of personal choice and public health. If states are the laboratories of democracy, it is long past time for the federal government to recognize the legalization has been a resounding source and the conflict with federal law has become untenable. Republicans argued that it is enough of a mind-altering substance to pose a threat to society, saying, quote, record crime, record inflation, record gas prices, record number of illegal immigrants crossing our southern border. And what are Democrats doing today? Legalizing drugs and using American tax dollars to kickstart and prop up the drug industry. Wow, said Republican Jim Jordan from Ohio, the top Republican on the House Judiciary Committee. Meanwhile, at least 37 states, 4 territories, and the District of Columbia do allow use of this for medical use, according to the National Conference of State Legislature. About half of that number, 18 states and 2 territories, and the nation's capital allow it for non medical use here in the United States, currently already in this country. So let me know your thoughts here. Those are the numbers on states that already allow it for medical use and non medical use. What are your thoughts on the federal government decriminalizing it? Again, there's going to be a lot of different opinions in the comment section. It really just kind of depends on your point of view. And it's interesting. I did not realize that that many states have already allowed it. That's quite amount, quite a lot of states already allowing it, and it probably looks like the federal government's going to allow it at some point in the future, especially with that many states already allowing it. So yeah, you can let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, remember though, is it'll probably still be like how alcohol is, where you still can be under the influence and can't drink and drive and things like that. So keep that in mind. There's still going to be under the influence laws and things like that. So like I said, you know, be safe. Be safe. Also today, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki is reportedly going to be leaving the White House for a job at MSNBC. We've also seen this previously where previous White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, who worked under former President Donald Trump, after she was left the White House, went to work for Fox News. Um, and Jen Psaki had said previously that she didn't think that she would work at the White House for more than, I don't remember her exact words, but for a year. I don't know the exact reason why, but I do know that a lot of these people, once they kind of become famous, so to speak, they move on to these big networks like NBC, Fox News, CNN, whatever the news network. Sometimes they get offers from a lot of these different major news networks because they get millions and millions and millions of dollars um, on these different networks, and more power to them. Because I know that Jen Psaki's reported salary at the White House is like 180,000, and I know that that sounds a lot to the average person, but if you're going to get millions to be just a news anchor at a place, I mean, who wouldn't take it, right? Who wouldn't take it? Especially because when you're working at the White House, it can be a very demanding job. The other thing is, you kind of have to weigh if you're going to get paid 10 times more, 20 times more. That's 20 years worth of salary in 1 year. Um, you really can't pass up that type of money increase. You really can't pass up that type of increase. It'd be like you're working at your job or your corporation or wherever you work, and then another corporation says, "Hey, we're going to pay you 10 times more, 20 times more. Want to come work for us?" And you say no. The only reason somebody would say no is if they really feel that their life's mission is to work at the White House and their sense of purpose is there, um, which she's already doing. She's already fulfilled that. And again, I'm just kind of throwing that out there. So that's the only reason why. That's the only reason why somebody would stay. But remember, when you work for the government, they have salary caps. I mean, even the president only makes like 400,000, or I don't know if they've increased that to 500,000 or something like that. I say only in relative terms, but remember, she's going to be making way more than that. Because remember, these news hosts make millions, millions, millions. So she's going to be making more than the president. Just I'm just throwing this out there. I know this is a lot of money, but government employees, they're all capped. So I know it's crazy. Meanwhile, yeah, you can't make this stuff up. Russia's drafting another 134,000 people. And apparently, Russia's draft is every single year. They're drafting hundreds of thousands of men. And Russia's saying that these men are not going to go to Ukraine. Does anybody believe that? Does anybody believe that? They have hundreds of thousands of men in Ukraine right now. They're literally running out of resources. They're running out of men. They're running out of tanks. They're running out of everything. They're trying to, in fact, Russia's already had reports of, you can see this headline here from about 2 weeks ago, Russia drafting thousands of men from Syria and paying them, basically mercenaries, to go to war for them. So who's getting who? If they're having to pay people from other countries to go to war for them, you think that they're going to draft 135,000 people from Russia, but they're not going to go to war in Ukraine? Literally, Russia lies every single day. They just said 2 or 3 days ago that they weren't going to, that they were pulling back troops, and that was a lie. Like, does anybody believe Russia anymore? It's like just every day, whatever they say, just think the opposite, right? It's opposite day in Russia every day. I know, it's just insane. But yeah, apparently, check this out. Yeah, Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday signed a decree ordering 134,500 new conscripts into the army as part of Russia's annual spring draft. But they said that the call up has nothing to do with the war in Ukraine. This is part of their annual draft every single year. And remember that they've reportedly already had over 15,000 men die in Ukraine already in just a month. So it's honestly, if this continues to go on month after month after month, all these men could die in Ukraine. And none of these men even want to be there. So imagine having to go to war in Ukraine for you don't even want to be there. Russia's forcing you to go there. And they do this every year. This would be like, remember the draft that US had, once in a lifetime? Imagine they drafted every single year. Can you imagine if the US had a draft now? Because I mean, times are really different now. Imagine the protests we would have now. I mean, we have protests now. I mean, for everything. Imagine if we had a draft now. Can you imagine the type of protests we would have here in the U.S.? I almost can't even imagine that. And I mean, you got to think if we actually did have a war that the U.S. get involved in, we'd probably have a couple million people that would instantly probably enlist, just kind of feeling patriotic and wanting to go and defend our country. But imagine if they enlisted the draft again. I mean, there's a lot of people that feel against that. Having to be forced to go to war is a very different story. Very different story, you know. And I mean, my brother was in the war. He did that on his own, or not in the war, but he was in the army. You know, defending our country and being forced to defend any country is two very different things. Two very different things. And I mean, Russia does that every single year. They force people, and literally think about how many people are in Ukraine losing their lives, and they didn't even want to be there. They're being forced. They're being drafted. They're being forced on this. It's just sad, really, really sad. And think about how many people in Russia don't even know the full truth of what's going on. There's people in Russia that don't even know that they're at war with Ukraine. There's people in Russia that don't even know that they're bombing Ukraine. There's people in Russia that don't even know what's going on, because all they can see, they have blocked out all media of outside sources. They can't get on Facebook. They can't get on Instagram. They can't get on YouTube. They have literally just shut off outside internet. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they have blocked out all outside media, all outside internet besides Russia? They literally can't see any outside media for the rest of the world. You can't even see it. They don't want you to. Yeah. Yeah, a lot going on here. Yeah, meanwhile, Congress here is considering how to help out our people as much as possible with as high as $300 per month, which could be as high as $3,600 per year, or another possible $1,400 stimulus check. Here is what a local news station just did consider a little bit on this. Check this out.
We have talked with dozens of people who are fed up with rising gas prices. Here near Desert Inn in Decatur, the cost sits at $5.29 a gallon, where it was nearly $1 cheaper last month. Congress is slowly moving to take action. Patrick Desage is one of thousands of people getting behind the wheel every day as part of their job and feeling the pain of filling up.
I don't know if you can see, I spend this amount every 3 days.
Yeah, $124 every 3 days. A new bill introduced on Capitol Hill would give $300 a month to drivers, like the child tax credit, but instead of going to parents, it would go to car owners.
It would make a dent, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't do much. That's only filling up my van twice.
The money would do a little more for rideshare drivers like William Flournoy and his wife.
She does Uber Eats. I do this in the evening. And it's just the rent, with the rent and everything else going up, then it's just hard to keep up.
But economists say people shouldn't celebrate the idea of free money just yet.
It sounds great for public relations, but it's not the best idea from an economic perspective.
Financial analyst Stephen Buden says gas prices are high because supply is low. Handing out money would increase demand on the already strained supply, potentially leading to even higher prices and a dependence on the stimulus to keep prices within reach. So as Patrick Desage and thousands of others drive away from the pump upset, they can probably expect more gas station visits like it in the near future.
Yeah, so Congress considering $300 per month monthly stimulus checks to car owners or to adults, which could add up significantly over the course of month after month after month to combat inflation. Would you consider this better than a $1,400 stimulus check like the last one was? Or do you consider a monthly stimulus check of $300 per month to combat high inflation and gas prices better? Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I will keep you up to date here on the most recent developments on the proposals here for the next round of stimulus checks on the federal level, as well as the state level, as well as everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on new videos. It's completely free to do so. And remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest video next, and you can click here to see our newest video our new video where we gave away $1,000, and my wife was in that video as well. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.